Last season did not start out as well as the Richmond Spiders would have hoped.
17.
But for Nick Sherod, it went from bad to worse in the blink of an eye.
Sherod lost it, turns it over.
On a drive to the basket against Hampton in the 6th game of the year, a play he estimates he's made hundreds of times, Sherod's left knee failed him.
The whole thing with a knee injury is just, like, the only word is just traumatic.
If you know how hard these guys work in the off season and 12 months a year, maximize their college career, you could tell how horrible it is.
Sherod suffered an ACL injury that ended his season, a reality that didn't hit him right away.
When it really hit me was that night was when my mom was at the game and I had to talk to her about it. Like, that's when it really hit me. Like, this is serious, and I'm gonna be out for a while.
There's a little bit of feel sorry for yourself, which is understandable. There's a little bit of guilt for, the team now has lost such a significant contributor.
That game had been Sherod's 54th straight start, and he averaged over 14 points a game as a sophomore the year before. Now he would have to embrace a new normal, where the best thing he could do to help the team was to get himself ready for next year. Sherod began the long and lonely task of rehabbing his knee.
There's so many days where I could see them having a hard time seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Especially like when you look at, what Nick went through. A lot of the time, he was just stuck here with me. Can you do a little bit more, a little bit better, or a little bit faster, or a little bit heavier today than you did yesterday? And when they understand those principles, we really open it up, and they're involved in it.
Sherod is one of the hardest workers and most organized players on the team. He did everything that was asked of him and slowly began to return to form.
During the course of it, there were a couple moments where he looked so much better, more confident, more comfortable. And then also in the first game, when you're just playing and you forget about everything and you're concentrating on your shot, your drive, your defensive assignment, whatever it is. And then I think you could just see him playing, and I felt the most confident seeing that.
But while Sherod worked to get his knee back into shape, a problem he wasn't expecting shook him just as he was set to return.
I felt really good. And in practice, I felt like I was playing well. In some of the scrimmages, I felt like I played well. And then I get to the game like, man, I'm not ready for this.
Sherod nearly asked Mooney to not play him in the first game of this season. That's how unsure he was of his repaired abilities. The insecurity surprised and frightened him.
The season's starting right now. Last time you did this, you tore your ACL, it was over with. So yeah, I was nervous for sure. And again, I remember my mom was crying before the game and all that stuff, and it was a lot of emotion.
But as soon as he survived an awkward landing on that same knee, he knew he could forget about that part of his career for the time being. The injury robs athletes of a year of their eligibility. Sherod used that time to experience things basketball would not have allowed.
You maybe not have a chance to go back and talk to this professor about this book that you read in class, or go to lunch with this friend. You never know. So I'd just say take advantage of everything.
Be able to come back and for the guys to see someone who cares that much to really attack his rehab in the manner that he did and come back. It's an incredible example for anybody, especially the guys who he's close to on the team.
We see them compete, but there's always more to their story. Lane Casadante takes you beyond the roster.